You are welcome to Massive Media Review Program of the Week. In today's review, we look at the trending news about the establishment of IDP camps for members of Northern Nigeria refugees needed to be transferred to Imo State as extension of Daura Emirate, for which the former president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, and Ehime of Daura masterminded through the installation of the present Imo State governor, Emir H.Uzodinma, the man fostering the ideas and policies of Northern Emirs, Northern Fulanese in southeastern part of Nigeria. As indicated above, our review is on Emir H.Uzodinma and creation of Ehime agenda busted by Biafran government in exile. Massive Media has read the Nigerian newspapers' publications on the topic, establishment of IDP camp in Ehime Mbano by the Imo State government under the emirship of H.Uzodinma, propelled by federal government of Nigeria under the leadership of Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We have also watched the reactions from many social media platforms. Some made impressive analysis, while other social media bloggers questioned the rationale and the reasonability of establishing such project in Ehime Mbano of Imo State. In all this, Massive Media considered it imperative to inform Imonites, Nigerians, and the world at large that Emirate Imo State government under the administration of Emir H.Uzodinma facts about Uzodinma's one community, one project in Imo State. The project name he used to establish the IDP camp in Ehime Mbano. Before we go on, we will read the term of his project in Imo State, why it was emergency, and who engineered him to make emergency proposal to implement the establishment of the IDP camp. The governor disclosed this in a statement to newsmen on Tuesday through his chief press secretary, Ogwike Nwachukwu, following the emergency executive meeting held at the government house in Owerri. The question is, why was it emergency meeting? What propelled him to hold the emergency meeting? Was he pushed to do so? Who requested that? Then it will be established that this was from the federal government of Nigeria, the government of Alhaji Ahmed Tinubu, who promised to represent the interest of the Fulanese and Buhari's administration continuity. Emergency meeting had aims and objectives, explaining what the project was all about and how they intended to achieve it. The statement said, all the 655 autonomous communities in Imo State have been mandated to key into one kindred, one business, Okobi as it is shortened, program of the state government as a model for employment generation in the locality and food security for the people. Then one would ask, why mandatory for the 655 autonomous communities? It is mandatory because One particular local government was in mind for the implementation of the project. That is Ehime in Ehime local government area of Imo State. We will continue. During the executive emergency meeting, Governor H.Uzodinma of Imo State gave the charge during an emergency executive meeting on Monday, August 5th, 2024, where he assured the Imo communities of government's preparedness to ensure that the Okubi program becomes a huge success story in the state. The governor challenged the autonomous communities in the state to key into the program, as doing so also will make them owners of the businesses of their choice. Continuing, the press secretary, Chief Ogike Nwachukwu, explained that the governor and the executive council have made it compulsory for every community in Imo State to identify a business they can own that the government can support. This explains those who are coming for these businesses. They have mapped out the money, the buildings they will use to train the refugees, the Boko Haram repentant fighters, and those who are displaced that are in IDP camps in Imo State. That was the reason for the emergency meeting. The question is, how many months later did the meeting finish that the federal government of Nigeria, through the Minister of Refugee and Social Development, arrived in Imo State to inspect the building? So the government of Imo State did not tell the truth about who would benefit from the emergency support of the government, the businesses they intend to establish in Imo State. Time told who the benefactors would be, and they are the refugees from the northern part of Nigeria, the repentant Boko Harams, and the displaced citizens of northern origin. And the best place to retrain them for their businesses and acquisition of skill is Nso in Ehime of Imo State. Members of the Executive Council of Imo State stated that the way forward now is to go back to the traditional rulers, town union president generals, and the stakeholders of different communities, and sit together and work out the modalities on what they plan to do and how government will support them, Professor Amechi said, unquote. Now, it was discovered that before the arrival of the inspectors from the federal capital, the government of Emir H.Uzodinma did not consult the traditional rulers, the town union president generals, the stakeholders of different communities. They never sat down and worked out the modalities on which the IDP camp will be used, and how and who amongst the northern refugees, Boko Haram repentance, and the displaced citizens of the north would be trained alongside with the citizens, if the citizens were formally considered. They never had such meetings. This shows that the government planned for this very program for the displaced citizens of the North, the Boko Haram repentants, and the refugees from wherever they may have come from in the North. Like the minister stated during their inspection of the Open University, where the proposed camping and the training of the refugees were to take place. H.Uzodinma and their cabinet stated that the program will help creation of jobs for the people in the rural areas and assured that the government has given it full backing as an agenda. This agenda has been seen now to be the agenda of the federal government of Nigeria and not the agenda of the state government, for which Emir H.Uzodinma is the head. The amazing issue that one reflects on is also that the Okobi program, as indicated by Professor Amechi, that it is meant to encourage communities' own businesses as a way of democratizing business ownership in Nigeria, as well as a way of encouraging people to work in groups, such as cooperative societies. Professor Amechi stated that he recalled that on assumption of office for a second term, Governor H.Uzodinma emphasized on the need to work with communities to identify their needs in the areas of businesses and acknowledge that so far up to 300 businesses have been identified for potential establishment in the communities of Imo State. That is, potential businesses have been identified, but none of them have been implemented. And those who are coming to benefit from these 300 businesses are those from the northern extraction who are displaced, who needed, according to the government of Imo State and the federal government, who needed skills to run these 300 businesses identified by the government of Imo State and not the people of Imo State. These are the Uzodinma's one community, one project in Imo State, which disclosed during the emergency meeting. But one will recall that one, Emir H.Uzodinma was desperate enough to accept any condition to become the governor of Imo State. Two, he was installed by the government of Muhammad Buhari's Caliphate government of Nigeria, using his new choice of Chief Justice of the Federation of Nigeria to manipulate to install him at the expense of any other human being in Imo State and Igbos at large. Three, he accepted the crown of Imo State Emirate when he was turbaned by Emir of Daura, Alhaji Farouk Omar Farouk, the man from the president's home of Daura. He accepted to fight those who are agitating for Biafra Republic in the name of agitation, as this was hated and despised by Fulani oligarchs and Emirates from northern part of Nigeria. 5, implement all Islamic agenda in Imo State as to influence southeast of Nigeria in accordance with the feudal Islamic caliphate in Nigeria. 6, to protect all Fulanis and their establishment, especially the cows in the southeast of Nigeria, irrespective of all their activities against the host nation Igbo. The lives of women and ladies, old people that were at risk does not matter. What matters is protection of the Fulanis in southeastern part of Nigeria. To arrest all Igbo youths, children, men and women who support Biafra agitation. These are the main jobs given to the Imo State, who represents the interest of the caliphate in southeastern Nigeria. Having accepted all these conditions, he was promised military and other security agents protection and help to fight against agitators, and finally security votes allocation becomes a free will and a free pocket for him, long as he undertakes the project. Unfortunately, however, Ehime became the victim of Emir H.Uzodinma Islamic programs, a community chosen for the implementation of Uzodinma's Northern Emirate agenda. However, there was a problem. The problem was the emergency of the Biafran government in exile, headed by the Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Njoko Eba. He became a problem to the government of Imo State and that of federal government. He insisted that such projects cannot go on in Biafra land where he is the Prime Minister. In a publication dated October 2nd, 2024, the newspaper called Daily Post published Biafra, Eba warns against IDP Camp in Imo State. In reaction, the paper stated, the leader of the Biafra Republic government in exile, BRGIE, Simon Eba, has warned against misrepresentation of Biafra agitation. The paper continued, Eba, the self-acclaimed Prime Minister of BRGIE, said this while warning against an alleged plan to settle refugees, migrants, and internally displaced persons, IDPs, in Imo State. He finally stated that Eba disclosed this in a statement through his official X account. In our next episode, we will, in fact, expose why Ehime was chosen for this punishment, because it is a punishment based on political wrangle amongst the politicians with the governor of the state. We will expose everything that took place. Do not miss it. It is explosive and everybody needs to know the very reasons why Nso was chosen to become an emirate amongst other zones and local government in Imo State. Thank you very much for listening. Please do not fail to subscribe to this channel, like, share our videos, to your loved ones and friends, including those whom you have lost contact for some time, and also do not forget to comment. With this, we come to the end of this program. Thank you for watching. God bless you all till we come to you with another episode. God bless you all. Bye.